Hi, it's Dawn from Ninja Bunny Crochet. Today I have for us to do the extreme drop stitch. I think this is a really cool stitch to do. You could do this in 2 colors, 3 colors, 4 colors, however many colors that you would like to do this in. I did my example today in 2 colors. It's really a cool stitch. It looks really neat. I think this would make a really nice bag or maybe a hat or something. This stitch was a request by one of my subscribers, and it took me a little while to learn the stitch, but I've got it down, and this was fun. It was really fun to learn the stitch. So let's grab our hooks, grab our yarn, and let's start doing the extreme drop stitch. For today's tutorial, I'll be using a I 5.5 millimeter hook and some worsted weight yarn. It doesn't matter what size hook you use or what size yarn, as long as your hook and your yarn match. To start the extreme drop stitch, you want to start with a base chain that is a multiple of 6. It doesn't matter how long it is, as long as you have a chain that is a multiple of 6. Once you have your chain, however long you're going to have it, I'm going to start with a chain of 24 for this example. We're going to start second chain from hook. I like to flip my chain over and work in the back bars of the chain. I just think you get a better finish that way. Second chain from hook, start with a single crochet, and we're going to do a single crochet in each chain all the way down the chain. So continue placing one single crochet in each stitch all the way down the chain. I'll meet back up with you at the end of the chain. I'm at the end of row 1. We have 23 stitches. To start row 2, we're going to chain up 1 and turn the work. Place one single crochet in each stitch all the way across till you get to the end of the row. I'll meet back up with you at the end of the row. I'm at the end of row 2. We still have 23 stitches. To start row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn the work. So we're going to repeat row 2 until we have 5 rows. So we're going to single crochet in each stitch across, and we're going to repeat this until we have 5 rows of single crochet. I'll meet back up with you once we have 5 rows of single crochet. I'm at the end of row 5, and we're going to switch colors in this last stitch. So I clipped off my green, and I'm going to grab my next color, which in this case is going to be white, and I'm going to pull it up in this stitch right here, and I like to tie my ends together because I just want to make sure it's not going to unravel, so I like to tie them together. And for tutorial purposes, I will weave those in afterwards. So now we're going to chain 1 and turn the work. And we're going to do a single crochet in the first 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, I want to make sure you pull out a lot of yarn because we're going to do our first drop stitch. So what I like to do is I like to put a stitch marker in because this stitch is very large and it'll kind of cover up the next stitch, so you want to use a stitch marker. I found for this, the best way to do this is to use a piece of yarn, because the locking stitch markers tend to be a little too big and they get in the way. So just grab yourself a piece of yarn, and not in the very next stitch, but you're going to skip a stitch and put your stitch marker into the next stitch. So just put just like that, so it just right through the stitch. Put your hook back in. And now to do the puff stitch, because it's a big stitch, I can bring over our larger example. Like you see, it encompasses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 posts, all going down into the previous rows. And I'll try to show you how to do that the best I can. So what we're going to do is we're going to go count 2 back on our single crochet. So we're going to go 1, 2, and down 1. So we're going to go into this place stitch right here. So yarn over and go back 2, 1, 2, and down 1, and insert your hook and pull up a long loop. Now for our next stitch, we're going to go over 1, which would be right here, and down 1. So again, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop. Now this next one is going to be our longest loop. So we're going to yarn over. Again, we're going to go over 1 and down 1. Insert our hook, pull up a loop, and we're in our center of our stitch. So now we're going to start going up instead of down. So yarn over, go over 1 and up 1, and pull up a loop. Yarn over. This is our last leg. We're going to go over 1 and up 1, and yes, we're going to be covering up that stitch a little bit, the next stitch, and pull up a loop. You should have 11 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yarn over and pull through all 11 loops. And then we're going to place a single crochet into that stitch mark stitch. I just kind of grab the yarn and pull it a little bit so you can see that stitch. Insert your hook into that marked stitch. It'll be a little snug to get your hook in there, but you can do it. I said you gotta kind of tug it a little bit. The first time doing this is a little fiddly, but you'll get used to it. And then you can just pull out that stitch marker and complete the single crochet. And you've done your first drop stitch. Complete 4 more single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're ready to do another drop stitch. So again, we're going to place our stitch marker. So get your stitch marker out. Skip 1 stitch and place the stitch marker. And yarn over, go back, count back 2 stitches, 1, 2, and down 1. So we're going to insert our hook into this spot right here, pull up a loop, yarn over one stitch and down one, insert into that spot, pull up a loop, yarn over one and down one, insert into that spot, pull up a loop, yarn over one and up one, insert into that spot, pull up a loop, yarn over, careful not to pull your stitch marker in there, over one and up one to your last post. Count your loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yarn over, pull through all 11, and pull up here and find that marked stitch, and get your hook into it. Just said it can be a little fiddly there. You just got to kind of yank on it. There you go. And do a single crochet. Pull out that stitch marker and complete 4 more single crochet. And then you're ready to do the next drop stitch. So skip the next stitch, place your marker, yarn over the hook, go back 2 stitches, 1, 2, and down 1, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over 1 stitch, down 1, pull up a loop, yarn over 1 and down 1, pull up a loop, yarn over 1 and up 1, pull up a loop, yarn over 1 and up 1, insert your hook, pull up a loop, count your loops again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yarn over, pull through all 11 loops, grab that stitch marker so you can kind of pull out that stitch so you can see it, insert your hook, and complete a single crochet. Pull out the stitch marker, and since we're at the end now, we're just going to complete the last 4 single crochets. And there is your first row of drop stitches. Now to start up your next row, you're going to chain 1, turn the work, and let me pull out a little more yarn here so I can show you a little easier. And we're going to place 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way across. And you're going to do 5 rows of single crochet, and then at the end of the 5th row we're going to change colors again. And in this case we're going to go back to the green. Now you can do more than 2 colors if you like, it's really up to you, but for this example I'm using 2 colors. So continue doing single crochet for 5 rows, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of 5 rows. I have my 5 rows of single crochet, and we're going to change colors again, this time back to the green. Let's pull that up. I'm going to tie it off. Again, I just tie these because I want to make sure that they're not going to come loose on me. Chain 1. And now, just like when we were doing the drop stitch row with the white, we're going to start with 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Get these tails out of the way. So we're going to place our stitch marker, and we're going to skip a stitch. So let's skip this stitch, and we're going to place our stitch marker into the next stitch, just like we did before. And yarn over your hook, count 2 back, 1, 2, and 1 down, insert your hook, pull up a long loop, yarn over, 1 down, insert again, and pull up a loop, yarn over, 1 down. This is the longest loop of our stitch. Yarn over, 1 up, pull up a loop, yarn over, 1 up, and pull up a loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through all 11 loops, grab that stitch marker, and we want to make sure that we're not getting into that loop there, so into that post. So we're going to have to maneuver our stitch this time because our last loop went through that, because we don't want to go through the stitch marker. We don't want to go through the post. So we're going to have to kind of maneuver it around so we're not going into the post like this. So be careful when you're doing your stitch not to do what I did right here and catch your stitch marker. So we can now pull out that stitch marker and do our single crochet. The hardest part of this stitch is making sure you get that single crochet, that first single crochet after the drop stitch. Then we're going to place 4 more single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're ready to do our next drop stitch. So get our handy dandy stitch marker. Skip this stitch, and we're going to put it into this one. And just like that. And make sure we get it over to the side here so we're not going to accidentally draw it into our drop stitch again. Yarn over the hook, 2 over, 1 down, insert into that stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, 1 down, pull up a loop, yarn over, 1 over, 1 down, pull up a loop, again, yarn over, 1 over, 1 up, pull up a loop, yarn over, last one, 1 over, 1 up, and make sure we don't catch that stitch marker, just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yarn over, pull through all 11, grab that stitch marker so we can pull that stitch out so we can get it. And let's see, there we go. And there it is, but we want to make sure we don't get that post. Just like that. I said that's the trickiest part, is getting that single crochet in there. Pull out that stitch marker and 4 more single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'll let you finish that last drop stitch and 4 more single crochet to finish off this row. And that's basically what you do, is you just keep repeating 5 rows of single crochet, 1 row of drop stitch for however long you want your project to be. And what I did, and I'll show you on the larger example here, when I finished off the top, is when I got to the end of my example, I did 2 rows of single crochet to finish off the top. You don't have to do it that way, but I did it that way to finish off the piece so that the bottom and the top matched. So if you've liked this tutorial, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. Thanks for watching, and happy crocheting. Bye-bye.